back. I'm recording this right after I just recorded the last one because, like, I tend to record them back to back if I can. Especially because I gotta do stuff this weekend. So I actually need to, if I want to get some recording done, I just gotta get it done. So we're gonna be playing Kankris now. Please forgive me if my Kankri voice sucks. I don't know what voice to give him. I'll try to, like, do whatever voice other people get him. A reminder that whenever I played through these, I will just be trying to get the good ending first. Might accidentally get, like, a bad ending in there, because I've the only two I've watched are these two. These are the only ones I knew what options would get you what endings. So whatever endings I don't get, I will make an entire separate video where I get all those endings. If that's cool with you guys. Kind of sad Porn didn't appear more on this one, but, like, she's kind of in the back too, so you can kind of, you know, expect that she's not really that important in this one. So anyways, let's hop into this one. I think I watched the beginning of someone's video on Kankris. Never actually watched until I got to any of the choice parts, which is probably a good thing considering I'm now playing this game for myself and I don't want to spoil anything, because I don't want to actually figure out how to get certain endings before I get them. Wow, is it great to just be out of the woods, back into the suburban jungle even. By which you mean you don't know why you said that. This is the least jungle-like terrain you've ever set foot in. Even the trees seem respectfully contained to their little dirt squares. Where were we? Out of the woods, right? It feels like a fitting phrase that. You're starving. It feels like you haven't been fed in years, which is obviously bullshit because you had lunch like an hour ago. You know, with a faint air of self-satisfaction that it's usually poor sap saying it, just the other way around. We're not out of the woods just yet, not you. You've been snapped by a venomous vine or had to watch your steps for trigger roots for hours. Okay. But, like, genuinely, I love the background art. Look how pretty that is. Just, oh my god, the sky, the way these people have drawn the sky for the background art, it's just beautiful. I love all these artists. I think in one of my recordings I'm gonna just show the credits so y'all can, like, check out and support all the people who worked on this game. Please, I do absolutely recommend playing this for yourself just because it's, like, awesome. I really wish I could have supported the developers, but I have no money whatsoever. Yeah, I don't have any money. I can't. I feel so bad, but, like, honestly, I feel like playing the game and, like, you know, spreading it and encouraging others to support them is something, at least. Have you seen this mutant? Even the distant honeyed robo-speech of a drone down the street can't faze you. Have you seen this mutant? Far down the block from you, the drone is... I'm not gonna do a voice for the drones, I'm sorry. I don't feel like it. I don't wanna. Specifically because I don't know why I don't wanna, actually. I just don't, okay? I don't know, I'm just not in the mood to try, okay? right down the block from you, the drone is busy stopping other pedestrians one at a time, showing them each a flower. Some kind of missing person deal, maybe? Some kind of missing persons deal? Maybe a manhunt? As the drone stops another group of pedestrians about a block away from you, what you can only presume to be a really complicated kind of ashen trio, holding each other's ears as they walk down the sidewalk. Aww. You crane your neck for an idle glance at the picture on the flyer. Have you seen this mutant? Have you seen this mutant? Oh, geez, that's you. Guys. One way or another, that's very much you on that flyer. They've given you this really chiseled jawline, and the illustration is hitting you with all these questions about whether you have a nose, but you would know that smiling orb anywhere. Your eyes are pulled downward towards your poor, still healing body. You'll be honest, you've only attempted a couple teleport jumps since then. You're already in serious danger of losing your lunch. You assured Porum, of course, that you would walk it off, but you're sort of rationing your space-time leaps, and after a busy night of being a good friend, you're plumb over budget. Very, very quietly, you peek around the street for some place to run. This'll do. You pick out the most middlingly well-groomed house of the bunch. Really the most innocent place you can picture, and climb the steps in no hurry at all. Just normal neighborly business. You run your lines in your head and pretend and put on your mail carrierly-esque smile with your best Befriendus mannerly precision. You knock on the door thrice. Hello, you rehearse, scrambling for what you're gonna say next. Hello, I'm here to repair your mail slot. No, that's silly. Hello, can I interest you in a collection of encyclopedias? Can anyone interest anyone in a collection of encyclopedias? Oh fuck, they're opening the door. The door pulls open only 4 inches before it's stopped by a jingling sound and a thin line of chain, and a young man wedges his face into the resulting crack. I like his outfit. It's cute. It's a cute little outfit. He's just got the cutest little fit. I realize the door's unmarked, but you could presume no solicitors unless told otherwise. Just a tip. You glance casually and unanxiously over your shoulder as if you have all the time in the world. Except you don't actually accomplish either of those things. Your glance is both anxious and conspicuous. Your palms are sweating. Yes, you would be coming my way. Glad you can make it. Oh yes, you would be coming my way. Oh yes, you would be coming my way. Glad you can make it. I did get the memo on that. Expectations, gossip, arguable gossip on the other hand. If this is what qualifies as gossip, then you might as well throw out the whole friend server. Do they have a Discord server? Do they have is it like Discord where you can have separate channels? I don't know. Am I reading too much into this? Am I misinterpreting as well? Sorry if my impression is like utter garbage. I don't know. I don't know what to make him sound like, okay? Okay, and I wound up making him sound too similar to another character, and I just... Oh my gosh. But I mean, right now... I mean, seriously. Great to finally make your acquaintance. We've all been following your escapades in the group chat, but abrupt appearances, unannounced showings up. Self-quote-unquote invitation. Comprehend exactly none of that. You are so sorry, but you literally could not be less interested in what this kid's deal is right now. You're kind of running for your life. Well, okay, Befriendus isn't very murdery, but for your freedom, you're running on adrenaline. That's how you're running. You're running out of excuses to invite yourself into a stranger's home. Have you seen this mutant? You're too preoccupied to notice whether the kid's gaze follows your down the street or not, caught up in your hand ringing over what to say next. You don't even hear the door moving until it's slammed in your face and then unlatched. Watch your step. Oh, his theme's kind of cool. He's got the most generic looking house. He's got the most generic looking hive, bro. You step inside the most sterile museum of a home you've ever been in. 2 plush couches invite you to sit. Those look comfy though. I would sit in the couch, okay? Bracketing in a brimming bowl of candy that invites you to eat. You are besieged on all sides by soft light, and you would swear classical music is playing somewhere on synthesized maybe string instruments. Comparing it to the chaos that has been chasing your sorry ass mere moments before, feels like suddenly diving underwater to escape a swarm of bees. A lot, but nice, unharsh, manufacturedly similar and familiar and capable of surprise. I'm mixing up words right now. I'm so sorry. I'm Kankri Befriendus. Either name acceptable, but let's stick to the basics for now. Nickname logistics, maids of address, random choices of 2 to 3 letters, on thin ice if you must. Okay, let me just reread that bottom line, because I think I said that wrong. I forgot that that's supposed to be O instead of A. Either name acceptable, but let's stick for oh god, I am just a mess with reading out loud. Either name acceptable, but let's stick to the basics for now. Nickname logistics, modes of address, random choices of 2 to 3 letters, on thin ice if you must. I'm sure you've been just about inundated with hyperbolized genetics, fear-mongering, borderline xenophobic newsreels already. Who hasn't? He's using words I have never heard in my life. I've heard hyperbolized, I've heard stuff like fearmonger. I've heard some of these. I have never heard that in my life. Never heard that word in my life. Inundated. Huh? And since you're the impacted party here, obviously I don't want to tread on any associated feelings for any longer than necessary. So just flag me down, by the way, if we're getting too real. Okay. You understand the sensationalism. Oh no, that looks slanted, so I'm emphasizing it. You understand the sensationalism of imperial propaganda. And I understand the sensationalism of imperial propaganda. So, expending a couple hundred words, just to bemoaning it to one of its survivors would be, I think, pretty needless. Xenophobia, imperial propaganda, mutation politics, but barely. But anyway, obviously my hive is an optionally and temporarily open space, inclusive of, but not over-centering you, until such time that either you rescind your interest or I rescind that stance. He is kind of hard to read because he uses words I have never heard in my life. Ever. Also, using 9 to replace O is a little confusing. Because they don't... 9 looks more like a G to me. Like a... backwards G, but okay. That's a destandardization and intentional subversion of my hive is your hive, by the way. A standard of hospitality granted innocuous at first, but upon further investigation, that veneer of innocuousy completely falls apart. Consider, for example, the expectations placed on both host and guest. Lol, 6'9". I'm gonna shut up. But, like, the Befriendus versions of these characters are, like, much more different. Like, a lot of the characters are made much less unbearable and awful people. Like, and, of course, Matuna is, like, very different, because it's, like, before he freaking fried his own brain. Oh. There's dirt under my nails, and whenever I'm on my medication, which I'm not sure if it's worn off yet, and I notice an imperfection on myself, I struggle to ignore it. I constantly, like, desperately want to pick at it, and sorry. Oh my god, there's freaking dirt on my... I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm just gonna try to ignore that until my, medication wears off. The speaker here, in a position of social power, presumes their guest so much as wants to be considered an essential part of the space, let alone to be given it, while the listener, the one receiving the offer, has been locked out of the process of verbally defining defining both the space and their intentions within it. What is this guy rambling on about? What is this dude talking about? I feel like also using the 9 as an O sometimes will get me to accidentally say it as an A. You know? I don't know why I really want to say it as an A. I just really want to say it as an A, okay? And so our speaker has snuck under the conventional radar and codified their position as a giver of charity, as owning a resource that usually without reason to think otherwise, their guest probably owns anyway, and didn't need to be given veneers, invitations. Oh my god! Look at this wall of text! Stop speaking! I'm begging of you. I want to duct tape his mouth. Shut up! And is the hive theirs? Well, a no means all we've done is obfuscate what could have been a straightforward, unproblematic conversation with a bare, if ultimately meaningless, reflection of Befriendus displays of wealth and, at best, culling culture, at worst, a display of wealth at best and culling culture at worst. Frankly, what I'm far more concerned with is a willing and over-eager or even sarcastic yes when pressed. No. One's readiness to meet even a rhetorical challenge to conventional linguistics, codified hospitality by showing their cards, is totally prepared to completely and legitimately offer their hive to a stranger who, again, was trying nothing more than to meet on common ground, is in fact not the snappy comeback you might think it is, and instead best described as still pretty problematic, let alone kind of worse. Social power, conversional status, sarcasm, weaponized poorly. In any case, It's great to finally make your acquaintance. So, let's maintain the right space in which to do it. Sir, please stop speaking so much and stop using words that nobody knows exists. I mean, a lot of people probably know some of these words exist. I just don't. I don't, and I'm everybody, okay? Are there any ground rules we ought to lay down? I'm sort of cosmically aware that any pronouns used for you here are just placeholders. And if you're experienced at this kind of thing, mentally replaced upon reading, I'm listening, but we're talking. Do you just break the fourth wall? Do you just accidentally be meta? Okay, man. But we're talking boundary lines. Any triggers to disclose needs alien or familiar. Intro about. The emotions you're feeling right now are not unlike the ones associated with staring down a pop quiz. Your lungs are shaking. Sir, you're intimidating with your constant speech, your constant yapping. Cease talking immediately. Your brain's processing everything he just told you about a tenth of the pace. You're still caught up on him telling you were apparently supposed to be watching the news. You cough. Noah, that's really considerate of him. You think you're not really comfortable disclosing your triggers to a stranger right now? That's just your canon personal preference in this moment. Anyway, you can always just pursue the hashtag warnings menu, thanks, though. Because, yeah, there's a warnings menu. Which I am now curiously prompted to see what's with the. I think actually I looked through all of them, right? There's one, they accidentally label. Five and 6. Oh, there's just nothing about. Yeah. Nothing triggering ever happens in volume. In intermission 2. What's with with volume 3 and. Oh yeah, right. That one made me a little scared. So this one, just gonna pull this up here. I just wanna warn you guys about anything that's in this. I guess fantasy racism, policing, negative foster adoption, parallels. Emotional abuse, economic abuse, casteism, casual and systemic ableism. Okay. Yeah, just to let you know. Just wanted to look at that. I love how his has like one of the longer lists of of triggering, like warnings. But if he doesn't mind, you have just a teensy tiny question about all the borderline xenophobic news you've definitely been watching. Just if hypothetically you hadn't been watching the news, like just if someone somewhere hadn't and you wanted to explain the situation to them. Oh, I'd be happy to give you a little language for the media scrutiny you are facing anytime. Actually, your instincts brought you to just the right place with that question. The way his eyes lit up was cute, though. Aww. He's friendly. He's such a sweetheart. I'm jealous of these people, of the, artist's hand anatomy. I have awful anatomy with a lot of things. I think my hand anatomy's gotten, it's not the best. It's slightly better than, you know, before when I was younger and worse drawing. Like, I feel like my anatomy slowly improves, but I'm still bad with it. Like, all my art stuff. Can't remember what video it is, but like, I watched a video of someone, like a little, it was just a short, I think it was a snippet taken out of a full-length video of someone fixing art that was sent to them, like, submitted, like, with people asking their art to be fixed. And it was of a rollerblading waitress, and they gave tips on how to draw legs with, like, you know, like the thigh, the top being curved and the bottom being flat, and like the calf, the bottom being curved and the top being flat. And I've been using that ever since hearing it. I always use that information because I just feel like I just like doing it, okay? I've been using it ever since figuring that out. Actually, yeah, I already read that. Unless you've been informed already, have you? That wouldn't surprise me, but I would owe a thank you and a quick shout out to whichever of our mutual friends referred you my way. But anyway, that's a service I tend to offer in general. Language and ensuring that one has found and navigated it appropriately. Nobody sent us your way. We just kind of accidentally found you while desperately trying to escape prison for doing nothing but existing and not being an actual troll. Also, Twinaman, how have you not wound up in, like, randomly in freaking jail, considering you wear your mutant blood color across your chest? I suppose maybe they don't, I don't know. I do all occasions. Interpersonal conflicts, blog posts, diary entries, that kind of thing. Advice, peer-to-peer, redemption, remediate. I'm so sorry, I'm getting words mixed up. Peer-to-peer remediation, language checks, optics, peer-reviewed theory, peer-reviewed praxis? Praxis? Have I ever heard that word before? I'm not sure. Peer-reviewed identity. Hey, what was the last one? Actually, wait. This is usually the point at which I ask how versed my audience, I mean, conversational partners, and, you know, just the whole general field of problematics. You were the guy who would cancel someone on, like, any social media platform for literally doing anything. You were the type of person who would be mad at, like, you were the type of person who would be mad at literally any drama. Like, I'm sorry, but the people who, with, like saying Gooseworks and, like, a Funky or Frogbait are racist. For Funky, sure did, I feel like, handled the information a bit wrong and should have looked into that. I was on the stream and they were already mad at the game, so maybe they weren't exactly thinking straight. And they have already apologized and trying to make it up. Some people are just dragging the drama on. And also calling Gooseworks racist for a joke made actual years ago. You know, the same person who said racists were not involved. I'm just rambling, but, like, some of y'all are like Kankri, okay? Some of y'all just can't let it go. Some of y'all just want to cancel people for the sake of canceling people some of these days. I don't mean to be offensive. I don't mean to be rude. I'm not defending any potential insensitive actions that were made. I don't find the joke that was made years ago funny at all. I think jokes like that aren't. They're not funny. They're really insensitive and offensive, but and I'm not one to speak about that, but considering I'm not part of that specific minority, it's, people change. It's been years, and Funky, I feel like saying Funky's racist is just completely blowing this out of proportion, because they are the least bigoted person I know, on the entire internet. I don't know them, but least bigoted person on the entire internet, bro. They, I know I'm rambling. This is dumb. Okay, maybe I should just get on with it. I'm just saying, Funky is not racist, but they did handle that wrong, okay? I'm glad Funky themselves has kind of just apologized and moved on, though. We don't want to drag on drama too much, especially if it's it's been apologized, they're gonna change as a person, it's anyways, I'm just gonna shut up and get on with this. I'm so sorry for rambling. Yeah. I feel like I always ramble when I'm doing these, and I feel a little bit bad for people who just want to watch the video, but people make ones without commentary for a reason. I like sharing stuff with people. It really doesn't matter who, just anyone who will listen. I'll share whatever. I'll share opinions and stuff. Reiterating, of course, that I strive to make no assumptions, and I'm always happy to provide a primer. There's a worthwhile dialogue regarding what assumptions really do make out of quote, you and me, unquote. But one for another night. Assumptions, work beasts, and/or derrieres, you and not / or me. You know what they say about assuming? Makes an ass out of you and me. No, but genuinely, that saying is a bit valid. No, it's valid. I'm just saying it like that because I'm mocking the fact that Kankri's. You could just say the saying, man. You're not gonna get freaking canceled for swearing once, bro. Your friends will swear non-stop, man. I mean, no, it's fine. He doesn't want to. You know what? It's fine. He doesn't want to. Yeah. I'm aware of your by now experienced co-conspirator status, but I would be remiss not to ask, and I am nothing if not stringently avoidant of remissitude. Conspiring allegedly activities of varying degree of legality or lack thereof. You're versed in problematics, right? Oh, quite without your consent, without voluntary movement, you find yourself nodding. His face is just the cutest! He is just the cutest little guy! In this art style. His constant talking is really annoying, but he's just the cutest! Oh, I can't remember which artist drew this. The art style looks a lot. I'm not sure. I don't know which artist drew this one, but it props to them. They did just the best job. Little highlights are just the cutest little thing. Soft little expression, little highlights. I can't. It's too cute. That's so great. The community has been facing some serious challenges right now. You wouldn't believe some of these comment sections. But I'm forgetting myself. You just said yourself, you would believe it. You are down in the rhetorical trenches. Activism, erasure, flagrant disempowerment, war imagery, comment sections. Comment sections as a trigger warning. That's all too real. That's a bit real, honestly. While we're at it, before I jump back into my little diatribe, do you have any pet issues I can support? After all, every self-respecting advocate has something. Support pet causes, takes care of varying temperature. What? Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah. You have takes. You do totally. You have the hottest takes under the sun, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I did spill a bit of a hot take earlier, randomly. I am still sorry if anyone is offended by that. It's not my place to decide anything like that. I'm just saying, can we not go out and bully Funky, please? Let's not go out and bully anyone, actually. It's just like... Anyways, I'm just gonna pretend that the drama didn't happen, because it's not like it. That specific drama, it's just a little bit dumb, and I really enjoy Funky's content. I don't think I'm gonna stop watching them just because some people want to blow something out of proportion. Okay, I'm sorry if because I did say I wanted to stop talking about that. And now I'm continuing to talk about it. I'm sorry. I'm still mad about that ring that snapped in half on camera, but not really on camera, but like in one of my previous videos, y'all probably heard me whine about the fact that my ring had just snapped in half. I will have to like solder that together or something again. Ask my dad if he can help me weld that back together, and hopefully it still be adjustable, because you know, I feel really bad because my girlfriend spent money on that, and I okay, we're gonna save. We're gonna overwrite this because I had no reason to save there. Yeah. You do, totally. You have the hottest takes under the sun, as a matter of fact. Do you feel like you're an overpowered avatar of the narrative instead of a person? Honestly, it's time to bring attention to one of society's most overlooked oppressed classes, gamers. Oh god, I don't know what the bad is. I can't tell what either of these could possibly lead to. We're just gonna pray this doesn't lead to a bad ending, because oh god, if all the choices in this one are that confusing, the video's gonna drag on forever. I'm gonna accidentally wind up getting all the endings in one video. Okay. I'm familiar with the cause, don't get me wrong. Maybe you can direct me to some of your preferred sources? Which isn't to say I'm not well read on the subject. I am. Very. Some of my closest friends are gamers. I mean, it's fairly often that I pick up a game myself, but I've been schooled on the differences between gaming as an activity and an identity. I can step back and respect my place on the sidelines of a community I don't truly share. There's a hierarchy of relevance of experience here, and as with many hierarchies of oppression, I respectfully take my place at the relative bottom of the gamer and gaming adjacent heap. We are taking this too seriously, bro. I think it was a joke. When he says some of my closest friends are gamers, I assume he probably... My mind immediately goes to, like, Matuna and Latula. Specifically because, you know, they named their canon theme songs. I'm like, why not? I don't know. They're gamers. I wouldn't say they're... I think Solix is the biggest gamer in the entirety of Homestuck, bro. He's the type of guy who just... literally would not leave his house for like a while. Oh my god. I'm just noticing a bunch of my beads got mixed up. That's making me mad. I will sort that out later, because now there's brown in my teal and green in my goddamn blue and... Oh no, it's like brown in my light blue. How did that even happen? Is it the teal right next to the light blue? How did the brown get all the way over there? Green in my dark blue. I'm gonna crash out. I hate it when my beads get all mixed up. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Little hobbies like that can be a major lifestyle, and one of the most radical, note, subcultural terminology, not political, high space, in-your-face lifestyles there is. A lot of frivolous pursuits like that become a sort of breeding cavern for pubescent identity. I love how instead of saying pubescent, they say pubescent, like pupa. At first, I couldn't find such respect for, say, dumping hours into making pixels move on a screen faster than some other person can make the pixels move on the screen, let alone the state of your standard text or voice chat spaces, which seem almost designed to be as antithetical to productive dialogue as one can get. We're getting meta with this one, man. I just don't see the fuss, I guess. But I think it's super admirable that you're standing up for the community. Kudos on you for picking an underrepresented cause. Alright, I've distracted us. Did you have a question somewhere up in there in the thread? I mean, back there, metaphorically, conversational threads, lines of reason. I really hope I didn't just get the bad ending. I think this is like the first actual choice we've gotten. If I got a ending, it would be if I got a bad ending, it would be the short bad ending, and I don't know if it would have gone on for this long. You know, the short bad endings typically tend to be pretty short, so I think we're okay. I think we've pushed on. Okay. Reviewing the news cycle and its representation of recent events in your own life, for which you're looking for a little language. You know what? We ought to have some citations on hand for this, and you don't want to hang out down here in the doorway all night anyway. Assumptions again, I guess, but, like, come on. Perfect. That's settled. Let's head up. Aw, he's such a cutie. He's such a cutie in this art style. I love him. He's just the most adorable little guy. I mean, so is MSP. Honestly, I think they made all the characters look kind of cute, honestly. I'm gonna switch gloves, because, like, that purple one I had on just had the biggest hole. Like, I did get them at a dollar store. So, makes sense that there's like a while ago, actually. Makes sense that there's a huge freaking hole in it, but, like, still the huge hole on the back of back of the hand or palm, depending on which hand I'm wearing it on. It's bothering me. I'm gonna switch to one that doesn't have holes. With the air of that kid trying to put 7 folding chairs away at once and hoping all the other teenage volunteers are watching, he takes the stairs 2 at a time. You doing your best to keep up, match that energy, and reach the room just a couple of seconds behind him. Yeah, no, that's... lol. I love how real that is. Oh, you try not to say as you step into whatever the direct antithesis to the eye of a storm. Oh, he's like ground floor's neat, and then there's this. Then there's this. He's got the neat, nice ground floor, and then he just has this. Oh my god. Maybe if the hive was the eye of a storm, and then that eye had a second smaller storm inside of it, the place inside the eye of a storm where coincidentally there would be an extremely localized earthquake. Point is, compared to the absolutely sterile living room, you've just come from Kankri's bedroom. What? No. Have fun. Okay. Sorry. I live with people in my house sometimes, and sometimes they try to talk to me. I rarely ever come to my brother's football. I feel a bit guilty about that. I mean, of course I support him. It's just I put up with just the most annoying people at school every day. It's like I don't want to go anywhere after school all the time because the people in my school, sometimes I really want to punch them. They're just, oh my god, the most unbearable people ever. I can't. I do not want to go out anywhere because I'm exhausted after school, and I feel a bit bad for my brother. I do absolutely, support him in everything he does. I love my brother. I try to be a good older sister. I can't bear going anywhere right now. Gosh. Although that might also just be teenage stuff, never wanting to go anywhere and do anything. Unless it's with my friends. Point is, compared to the absolutely sterile, I'm just rereading this because I got it wrong and also was interrupted. Point is, compared to the absolutely sterile living room you've just come from, Kankri's bedroom seems to be the corner of the rug under which he swept all of his mess. Maybe it is a step forward in your friendship journey. You think to be immediately trusted with the equivalent of an Earth teenager's cluttered closet. Oh, cool. He's not wearing a shirt now. I hate his pants. Again, it's a reference to the stupid pants cat meme. But I want to... I can't take you seriously. Please put the shirt back on. Please put the shirt back on. The shirt can stay on, sir. That's better. And likewise, make yourself comfortable, whatever that should entail. We're not exactly under the watchful gander bulbs of societal expectations here. Societal shackles, the same from which my quirk originated, and by which we are all bound. Fashion police. Maybe you should listen to Purim. Maybe you should listen to Purim. I'm not the person to talk to about good and bad fashion. I mean, I'm not like... I go against, fashion norms, dressing alt, but I still have very strong fashion standards. This is... Oh my god. Why? Sir, please stop. Oh right, I was typing quirk. Yeah, that's cool. whatever. To that end, you look for a place to sit, briefly considering popping a swat on the coffee table for maximum cool points. Your gams can take it for a little while. Kankri unlocks his husk top, opens what looks like the 20th tab on his... Oh, that would be where he's saying that. The 20th tab on his particular browser window. 20th? My computer would explode from having that many tabs. My crappy little Chromebook would explode. It would pull a Tavris spray and just kill itself immediately. It would stop living. It would delete itself from existence. It would go off like a bomb. What do you mean 20 tabs? And completes a quick Google search for Eris kidnapped breaking live update. She wasn't kidnapped, she left. She hates you. He clicks over to the news tab and you crane your head to count just how many of those photos on the wall are askew. Some look like they could almost be the default pictures that came with the frames. Back to our task, educating the uninitiated on your current representation in the news. Oh? Her Porum's little profile pic's cool. Okay. And this is speaking personally, would probably open a general rundown of the sorts of language we're seeing in mainstream telecasts, radio, anything Empire approved. Of course, opinion pieces, let alone the vast blogosphere, aren't innocent on this occasion either. But let's go to one rhetorical opponent at a time. Like, look at this. He shows you an article with a selfie of two trolls, a sweep or two older than him, at the skate park, onto which someone has photoshopped a large red outline and a zoom enhance. Sure enough, that's a grainy little U in the background. Oh, that's back when we were meeting with Mituna. Wasn't the YouTube clickbait thumbnail? Lol. The great lioness stalks into the professor's porch and deposits. ... I don't know what voice I'm gonna do for her. Oh god. Her profile pic's cute though. I'm not sure what voice to do for Mulin. Honestly, I think Nepeta impressions I've attempted in the past were not that great either. So, I'm screwed when I get to Mulin's. It's fine, it's so fine. Oh my god. So once I'm done with the last intermission, until the update, I will just film a little bit of, I'll film a little bit of, I'll film all the endings I haven't gotten, and then, oh no, I do also want to pick up playing Distant Quest, but I don't know if, having more than one game installed to my computer at a time will make it explode. Because, this thing does not have a lot of storage space. It is literally just my school laptop, my school Chromebook. So, not that great. I am so screwed. There's a visual language being used here, which is, if you don't mind me saying, highly suspect and borderline incriminating. Easy purrs out a thoughtful drum roll. Yeah, I'm gonna... And some might accuse me of veering off topic, or forgetting the thesis we're operating under, but I would just like to place a reminder here. For the discerning listener, that visual language is, in fact, a field of language. Now, far be it from... Jeez, this is a huge-ass wall of text again. Far be it from me to project any Befriend cultural implications onto your non-Befriend experience. But just to provide some context, there are plenty of other photos of you available. I think the most common ones you'll see posted with the goal of actually identifying your location. Their subject are taken from one of a couple drone scans, which of course bear their own unfortunate implications, but are, I think we can agree, at least not quite so oh wait, do you have a word for detrollizing? Dehumanizing. Have you considered getting good? Damn it. We're doing this stupid profile thing. You can just tell he's like the biggest fucking chud. Have you considered getting good? I feel like I did wildly change his voice from the last time I voiced him. Get used to it. With characters I haven't voiced in a while. Did I make him sound too much like what I'm... Sorry if I keep rereading that. I'm trying to practice my voice acting. Especially if I ever voice act in, like, animated projects, which I do plan to eventually do voice acting in life, just because it's fun. Also because I'm hoping to get on the acting squad for musical theater. If not, set design and whatnot are also things I'm good at. You know what? No, maybe I should not be on the freaking acting team. Now that I think about it, the way I'm stumbling over my words and, like, don't like to draw attention to myself, maybe I shouldn't be on the acting team. Maybe I should do backstage stuff. Oh boy. Yeah, no, we're not joining the acting team. Now that I think of it, it's like, that's too much stress. Then I'd feel a little upset if I applied for the acting team and got pushed to something else, even though I myself know it's better. I'm rambling again. Have you considered getting good? Yeah, is that good? Is that good? It's hard when Matuna's not consistent. He's not consistent with when he replaces letters. Usually he'd use like I can't remember if he uses if he uses one for I or L, but he does use 5 for S, and he didn't do it that time, but whatever. Vocabulary, assimilation, language, extraterrestrial erasure, species shaming. You think so? You're picking up what he's putting down. They do kind of make you look like a cryptid. Exactly. AC sent attachment, beta copy, final, beta copy 3, final for real. He keeps getting messages. Why does everyone want to talk to someone so annoying? It's funny to me though. Exactly. Not to mention, stop me if this is getting off base, the simultaneous projection of the dangerous extraterrestrial narrative, a removal of extraterrestrial identity, fear palverism. Aww, just... The fact he's just ignoring these messages is kind of funny to me. Like he's continuously getting messages right now, and he's so invested in this. No offense, but seriously, the assumption on site, I'm never gonna get over how stupid his freaking pants is. Pants, no shirt, pants all the way up to his freaking chest is. God, please, listen to Borim. Please. Please put the shirt back on. This is not a good look. No offense, but seriously, the assumption on sight that this figure must be some kind of genetically divergent troll is based as much on scare politics about troll genetics as it is on denial of extraterrestrial narratives. Scare tactics, mutation politics, no longer barely.
Okay, so Kankle's just finished reading this, and like,
oh, this is more like gnarly caballerial. So this is less like, I think, yeah, the way she says Kankles, like, okay, so these aren't them messaging him, this is a group chat thing.
okay, so Kankle's just finished reading this, and like,
Narratives that are, don't get me wrong, categorically more underprivileged than my own, when pushed out of the spotlight entirely, whereas most others, carefully manicured and manufactured, are pushed into their assigned societal place. Does that make sense? Are we keeping a good pace? It's funny, actually.
no, yeah, totally. No, yeah, totally.
Can't remember what my voice was for Latula while I was reading the actual webcomic. I did do that, like, I think I'm doing the voice, like, I don't know how to explain what kind of voice I'm doing, but like, no, yeah, totally. No, yeah, totally. I want to add, like, a bit of that way Terezi speaks, but also, you know, like, of course, the skater girl voice. Like, the chill girl type voice. It's funny, actually. I don't know, I might have already read that. I mean, no. Hang on. No, it's definitely not. No, it's not.
It's like, who needs the drama, right?
It's just that one of many ways in which you and I find ourselves in arguably totally disparate positions, and at the same time roles that are nonetheless pretty similar. I'm so sorry if my recordings wind up being super duper long. Mostly to both you if you want to actually watch through all this, because I spent a lot of time rambling. Again, sorry about my random rambling and my hot take earlier and anything. Y'all can totally just not agree with me. I don't care. Yeah, it's your opinion. I have my opinion. Let's be respectful about opinions, because I will respect anyone else's. What I will not respect is attacking people, of course. And, I'm also sorry to myself for, the fact that this is gonna be extremely, like, if this is too long, I have to re-record the whole thing and try to force myself to keep it shorter, because I won't be able to send it to my tablet and post it to YouTube. Because I don't know if I don't really know how well I can get to posting this stuff on from my computer. Also, because I don't have any photos for thumbnails on my computer, which I'm really bad at picking thumbnails. I'll just use a random photo for my camera roll, okay? I can't edit a thumbnail together. Maybe I'll learn how to do such things eventually. I just mostly will make the thumbnail random art I have that's mildly related, okay? My freaking apologies. Like for the intermission 3, because Mina's in it, I'm gonna use the art of Mina, because I drew that after I posted my, part 1. It's just that it's one of many ways in which you and I already read that. Off-spectrum and extraterrestrial identity should, by all accounts, contain such overlap In fact, analyzing that too hard as overlap risks doing some serious co-opting, but it's worth giving a quick shout to the shared sense of othering that comes with the category being named not like us or not part of this. Just look at the word alien, and while off-spectrum is a community-chosen label, of course, the spectrum itself isn't. It's not the only weird little position we have in common like that.
It isn't?
Take your recent foray into our general friend constellation, for example.
You always know how to pull the philosophy of school feeds on 4Girl. ...
I'm actually something of a friendship connoisseur myself. In canon, you treat a lot of your friends like crap. Unintentionally. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm not sure if it's, by any chance, been mentioned by any of our mutual acquaintances. Have any of them even brought you up once? Maybe they have. I think probably someone has brought you up. For our mutual acquaintances, although, who am I kidding? It probably has. But anyway, I tend to serve a sort of advisory friend counseling sort of role around here.
Keeps me on my friends' lols.
For context, some similar online circles may default to hierarchies of coolness. Note, problematic term deeply entangled with spectral order. Avoid in the abstract, metaphorical or literal. See, notice how we've made use of that term specifically to call out its meaning. So I can call myself proud to have friends who consistently sidestep that debacle in favor of a more virtue-based de facto leadership structure. I'm barely paying attention to your rambling, man. What we've fostered is kind of intentionally what that can only come from a purposeful... Okay, I've read that wrong. What we fostered is the kind of intentionality that can only come from purposeful, subversive disruption of those easier cliché peer group patterns. It helps when you have one or two individuals present who really want the position and who want it out of a sense of... I almost put this but I don't know what I'm getting into. Who want it out of a sense of altruism, not immature adolescent competition. Not that we're without our problems, mind you.
I'm glad we're cool too.
They're great people, don't get me wrong. Kankri cuts off mid-sentence to make a few swift clicks. Chat status disappearified, and the constant dinging of desktop notifications is no more. Oh no, I liked reading those! Screw you, Kankri. I liked reading those. I liked seeing your friend drama. Also, Latula being there, okay? I'm glad this game still gets updated. I mean, also, it would be nice to have, all the characters out at once, but, also, actually having something to look forward to with the game is always great. Oh my god, I gotta get my stupid Roblox working again, because I wanted to get the GG skin for... Excuse me? I wanted to get the GG skin for the Care Bears collab. Just speaking of things to look forward to. But, thing is that, it's so hard to play on mobile, and my freaking console version of Roblox is freaking broken for some reason. It won't let me... I don't know. Hard to explain, I have to figure it out with my dad. Anyways, he swivels around in his seat to look at you, who, whoa, look at that, is looking up at the ceiling. Probably you've been staring at the ceiling for a while. It's really interesting up there. Anyways, let's compare notes. After all, you've been doing some seriously commendable work. I mean, I didn't think we'd see Captor take such a well-adjusted, borderline presentable approach for sweeps, but there you have it. Yeah, I just have that effect on people. Referring to your friends by last name is either like being super formal and so like not being super close to your friends, or being so close with your friends that you call them by their last name as a joke, you know, like for fun. It's like a, I don't know, it's like in a loving way, you know. Would you believe he hasn't come to my inbox with some sort of "you won't believe me" but proclamation of doom in an entire 48 hours? All that unlocked in just one night's work. Well, yeah, he can't see the future anymore, and also, we kind of got him to chill and just, you know, learn that he can't exactly control the future. So, yeah. I see you playing Minecraft there. Yeah, freaking Minecrafter. I gotta hop on Minecraft again. I gotta see if I can get my disc working now that I don't know, I just, whenever I want to play a game, something on it broke, and it's broken, and my Minecraft's just really annoying. Keeps logging me out of, you know, like PlayStation Network features, so like, it's so annoying, and Friendship, I mean, the work being friendship, which isn't any work at all. We don't ask for any thanks. The work is its own reward. For those like you and I mean. I've never finished any formal writing on this subject, though not for lack of effort, but how do I put this? There tends to arise, I've noticed a need for a sort of group awareness protector. Someone with their hand to the pulse of, well, everything ideally. But I am, of course, merely one troll. Not everyone is cut out for the sort of mental load that comes therewith, and not everyone is willing to bear it. And that is fine. Something as complex as microcosmic political management, after all, can't be everyone's thing. Some of us would rather write friend fiction, or do those little card tricks, or grind wheeled surfaces along stationary surfaces, and I totally get it. So write friend fiction is probably mulin. Good. Do little card tricks. Who could that be? I don't know. If someone knows who exactly that's referencing, let me know. Maybe Rufio, I'm not sure though, but like, not sure if Rufio ever does anything with cards. I don't know enough about Rufio, okay? I'm sorry. I haven't run into him in, you know, the actual webcomic much. I don't know enough about Rufio yet, okay? I know nothing about him. Hopefully when his part drops, you know, I'll not be so clueless, but like, I don't know what the card tricks could be, and the wheeled surfaces is definitely related to Mituna and Latula, you know? And I totally get it. He says this, I might have already read that part, but sorry if I reread things, I constantly lose my place. He says this with the distinct air of someone who has never had less of an interest in getting something. Anyway, it all does it all does shake, but in the end, I really hope this doesn't wind up being like super duper long, but I just know it's going to wind up being a super duper long recording. I'm so sorry. Without people to go around messily engaging in the worldly wants of night-to-night life, there would be arguably nothing left for us to analyze. I like to bear in mind what the world is for. Take an advantage Accord server, for example. Here we have space basically built to goof off. A couple channels have to be dedicated to rational conversation, obviously, or else matters devolve quickly. But all the same, not everyone walks in with the goal of making any major sociological breakthroughs in the group chat. I don't know what he's rambling about. In fact, I don't think very many people would argue with me if I said that nearly everyone else logs on with no loftier a goal than to hang. You don't know how to tell Kankri that yes, most people do indeed go on social media to chillax. Like me, I'm not posting for any particular reason other than I just like to post stuff for you guys. I like to express myself online. I like to feel like I have a sort of communication with people I don't know who, like, I feel more confident posting online and posting about myself and talking to people online because I feel less judged. I feel like a lot of the time my content makes it to people who actually, you know, care and like the same things as me and, you know, aren't out to, like, judge me, and it's less intimidating than talking to people I don't know in real life. Because I've gotten bullied in real life more than I've been bullied online, you know? It's like, I don't know, I'm rambling, but like, yeah, I just go online to chillax. People with a more astute eye now might see veritable microcosm rich with diverse identity statuses and diverse, frequently strong personalities, while some of those stomp causings might simply start preparing for a brewing storm. I see the chance for some rude breakthroughs when put up to scrutiny. Eventually, there becomes a need for a living, breathing moral compass to define, by which I mean extrapolate the comfort levels of everyone present, spoken or unspoken. Usually unspoken, but again, that's what those of us willing to speak for the silent are for. Okay, man. These photos in your house are a little random. They're cool. Just tiny bit random. Like, why you got a random picture of a horse? Oh, I'm sorry, Hoof Beast. I don't know what that game right behind Minecraft is, though. So basically, he's calling himself some sort of friendship shepherd. Precisely, and there's plenty to speak on. There is so often such a complete lack of engagement in others' under-verbalized realities. Take a simple comment made from one colder-blooded member of the chat to someone more, let's say, warmer, OJA, Olive Jade Aqua. You say aqua. Isn't it turquoise? You're using the wrong color terminology. I swear it's turquoise. Is it called aqua in the actual comic and I'm stupid? I think it's turquoise. I think it's always been referred to as turquoise, right? No. It's like, You'll pick it up as we go territory. No, maybe out of context to someone who shares the perpetrator's more CIP leaning status, cerulean indigo purple, so a little colder. It might be a friendly jibe or even a generous offer. But what if they're lacking the contextualization of that warmer OJA experience that has heard a similar such comment 1,000 times before, and almost always with strings attached. Strings that, if plucked, will be an admittance of need and therefore inferiority. Surely nothing is meant by, say, offering to cuss out a particularly rude online FPS player on a fellow cerulean friend's behalf, or what have you, but to extend the offer in warmer directions without qualifications begins to ring of culling connotations. What? Culling connotations? It would really be nice if words would retain definitions between universes. You were just getting used to culling being an adoption thing. It sounds like it can be a friends thing too. Right. That's my failing to provide sufficient cultural context. What's your current working definition? Arania filled you in on this a little. It's you recolor words a mechanism for taking care of the infirm or orphaned. On Alternia, it means to kill someone, but we're gonna ignore that. You thought it was adoption, but it seems like that's only half of it. No, that's the literal usage. We're extrapolating out. Oh, I keep thinking that's but. Shut up, please. I'm sorry. I need to shut myself up from, mixing things up. I think my medication is wearing off because I'm tweaking out right now. We're extrapolating out from there into the realm of microaggressions. It sounds like it would be good to get a second perspective on the basics, just to discuss some perilous framing issue. So if you don't mind, I think I'll run through some context. I mean, Circuit's academic qualifications speak for themselves. It's been nothing but a pleasure to work with. I mean, hang together in recent parodies. I'm sure you've experienced this already, but it's just nice to have a fellow academic whom to really sink some teeth into the wriggling meat of history and sociologics, metaphorical dental aggression. So it'll be nice for you to get two sources to draw your information from. Diversity of input is critical, and particularly here, I think. Someone somewhere once theorized that to really learn anything you have to hear it 3 times. Ryan and Kankri each seem quite capable of being their own 3 repetitions or perhaps a couple dozen, but you like learning. That is the friend activity of the day. 2 academics chilling. There isn't a need to mince words about this. Actually, it's all very hemospectrum loaded. So, the culling system established by her benevolent conservation as her first act upon taking the throne, but of course only usable as policy after decades upon decades of real legislation drafting. Thereafter, culling is a system of guardianship which operates on a few core assumptions. We're going to be dividing into casteism, ableism, which rests on multiple axes, real ability and presumed ability, for lack of better turn of phrase. So-called caste realism will be rearing its ugly nug bone. Institutionalization. Institutionalization. Sorry, I had to read that out in my normal voice several times to just unravel that word. I have heard institutionalization before. It's hard for, I'm struggling to pronounce some of these things, okay? Typing quirks make it harder, but I don't want to turn them off. I'm not gonna turn them off! Oh my god, but imagine if, I'm just glad that Kankri's typing quirk is at least a little bit, simpler. If he had a typing quirk like Matuna's and was speaking these long, complicated words, I would die. I would die on the spot. Deprivation of freedom, failed burrito tests. Oh. I was about to go, what does that mean? And then I'm like, hearing that, failed burrito tests, my mind immediately jumps to that one, jumps to one particular story. I think it was a real life event that part of the lore of Petscop was based on. I think it's explained better in one of Game Theory's Petscop videos, one of the slightly older ones. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, just watch through those. The particular one it is, I think, is the one that has, the thumbnail with the word quitter. I don't remember the video title, okay? Don't blame me. That's the only one. That's the only way I know how to explain it. Just if you want to learn about that, very, very sad event. It's very tragic. I feel very bad for the poor child that lost their life in that. I'm gonna stop rambling. But my heart goes out to that poor child. It's really sad. Are we still good to go? Just for this one specific lore dump, hashtag warnings in the plus screen menu, do reply regardless. Okay, this is gonna be a long recording. We are saving. Oh god. No, actually, let's get the TLDR. 0 consequences for opting out. The prolix desertion, I promise. The hashtag prolix desertion, I promise. This one is long. I assume if they're saying 0 consequences for opting out, this isn't actually going to lead me to either the long bad ending or the long good ending, I hope. Maybe I'll make an entire separate video where I actually go through this line of dialogue. It's just, if there's no consequences for getting the TLDR, I'm gonna do this for that I'm gonna do that for this video because I don't want this recording to be too long, okay? We'll do separate videos where I make different choices, okay? Yeah. Sure thing. Kankri produces a note card out from between a stack of larger papers and a bowl slowly crusting with drying cereal milk. I'd say you, but then again, I literally had some of those in my room earlier before I took down the dishes. Yeah. Can't remember if that was this video or the intermission one. Yes, I'm losing track. I have very bad memory. On the back, scrawled in the messiest handwriting you have ever seen, are the words elevator pitch. For our purposes, we need to cover is that It's a system that applies a rubric to trolls suspected of insufficient self-care. Those who fail that rubric can be culled in any number of ways. Some culled trolls may face weekly or monthly check-ins from a cull taker assigned to a couple dozen cases. For example, check-ins that are an invasion of privacy in ways that, oh yikes, I am edging too close to the bounds of the trigger warning boundary we laid down. In the thousands of other cases, a culled troll is placed in the hive care and jurisdiction of another troll, also called a cull taker. Please note that cull taking, while a damnable profession anyway, is de facto caste locked, considering a suitable career route only for physically fit trolls over the age of 100. Oh, so like someone who can't even live to 100, like say like a rust blood or like say, I think it's properly called rust, right? That's not me accidentally using a troll slur. I'm sorry. Like someone in like rust, bronze, possibly gold, I think. If gold has like human lifespan, there's a chance they can live to 100, but like, yeah, that's just like anyone, a low blood cannot do that because they can't live to 100. They die before that point. Kankri opens up an eye to check on you. You give him a thumbs up like, yeah, that covers things. That was short enough to last a trip to the penthouse suite. Pardon? Unfamiliar destinations. Never mind, carry on. Now we loop back to its implications into something called culling culture. Back to that hypothetical offer we were discussing in our FPS scenario. It might ring of other worse intended offers that most warmer than cerulean have heard before. Getting into extreme frequency the warmer we go, and that isn't a thing that it's always particularly safe to voice. Before you indict the word safety, I'd just like to unpack for a minute, because it's been muddied to hell and back. There's material safety, sure, survival and freedom from bodily harm. What goes unacknowledged within mainstream buffer and harm analysis is that concept of psychological safety, security. Let's say, what is a troll to do when under the premises of their personhood and contributions are under constant scrutiny, when they risk any footing they may have spent months on this friend group gaining? I don't know what you're yapping about. And so a lifetime of navigation, double talking, means any speech that isn't proven not attached to a proverbial snare is, until proven otherwise, psychologically unsound. Not everyone can be expected to weather the storm that comes with noticing and calling out these things, even on their own behalf. Oh god, I'm so sorry if this one turns out really long. This is gonna turn out so long. I don't even know if this will be able to send from my computer to my tablet. Oh, please don't be so long. Please don't be too long. I don't want to have to replay the whole thing so I can make it shorter, like anything like that. Please don't be too long. Oh my god. In fact, I'd argue that on one's own behalf is when it's most treacherous and most in need of someone else to come in and really define the situation. Wow, he really feels strongly about all this. We should check some language there. You're new, so believe me, no hard feelings taken. This is just a friendly educational comment. I don't know why it has to be about a feeling. What about what I just said to you registers as a feeling? It's just clear that he cares a lot about injustice and about doing good. Please let me know where I'm misstepping, but I don't see myself doing anything here but laying out facts. Facts that he cares to prove, right? How can we appropriately address... Care is not the operative word here.
You're a little initiated, so I'm not taking it personally. I'm just warning you that someone somewhere, someone else, that someone somewhere, someone less acquainted with your circumstances may take it personally, and that's worth knowing and avoiding repeating well in advance. Please put your shirt back on, sir. When a legislator goes to work, no one in the gallery is turning to each other and going, wow, they seem really put out about all this nasty business. We aren't wondering why they make opening statements, or what they got all dolled up for, or whether this was worth leaving the hive in the evening. You're new here, so it all takes a lot of translation, but there's a lot of emotional surveillance to be had around here, and it all takes a very casteist bent. That casteist bent is where you were coming from, obviously. You would go if I didn't check your behavior here, and now go around making the same conversational blunder with every acquaintance you make here, and then you would wonder at why only those who incidentally turn warmer might find your actions triggering, while prior encounters have proven them totally innocuous. Because they are innocuous, hypothetically, in a life not understanding a constant downpour of that kind of emotional surveillance. Right? And when one has the half-hearted luxury of being home alone, the hive isn't... The hive is typically afflicted instead with a completely expected degree of conflict, as happens between symbiotic species with varyingly limited communication. So there's a sort of sanctity to that, which functions finally as some emotional antithesis to the cuddly panopticon waiting outside the door. Sorry if I'm pronouncing things wrong, okay? What I'm saying is we get enough oh no poor thing outside of here, and really don't need to replicate it inside that's not how I run my hive. Kankri does not want to look at you. Aww, I'm sorry. There's an environment I'm doing my best to steer you not to recreate. Right, you say thanks? He does a lot of work creating and maintaining environments. Precisely. You think of his spotless hive of the lovingly offered cushions and bringing candy bowls on the lower level. You think of the tornado-struck respite block he whisked you up to. Like this environment, right? I strive to make all of my conversations healthy environments. No, this room is a pretty nifty act of rebellion. He recovers quickly. Exactly. Standards of presentable living spaces. Spaces intended for, note, emphasis, living, aren't standards of being cultured or refined or even welcoming. They're cold status markers. What's wrong with the paper on the floor? What defines what a shelf is for? I'm sorry his laundry chair is a violation of anyone else's personal freedoms, right? Is laundry chair a violation of anyone else's personal freedoms? Is laundry chair a crime? No, I don't think so. I mean, laundry chair means you're not going to get your laundry cleaned until you pick it up and move it from laundry chair. Also, when I'm in another person's house, like, I have my own messy space, and like when I have someone over my house, I'm like, my room is a mess. We don't need to go in there, because it's like, I'm conscious that other people might not be ecstatic about my mess, because like when I go over to someone else's house, I don't feel comfortable in a messy area personally. Like, it's like
If it's my own mess, sure. Anyone else's mess, like my brother's, one of my friends, it's like, I'm a bit of a, I wouldn't say a germaphobe or a neat freak, but like I hate mess and like and like, you know, garbage and like whatever when it's other people's. If it's mine, I don't care. When it's someone else's, it's like, pick this up, please pick this up. It's like, I see someone else's like mess and it's like that they've just left. It's like, it's not my job to clean this up for you. Please do it yourself. The discomfort in the air is so thick that you can barely avoid cringing, and a brief flicker behind Kankri's eyes says his skin's crawling under it. Minutely, he swallows very, very thickly, and he keeps furtively checking your face. The set of his eyebrows and mouth and shoulder are practiced, but the flare of his nostrils says he's preparing for this to fall apart somehow. His resistance to being cold red by a stranger makes noticing it feel almost sticky, invasive. This hive does not belong to Kankri Vantas. His interior design decisions do not belong to the six people you're talking to. There's been no distinct smell of animal dander, or little scuffling claw marks, or other little signs that something lives here, that something that lives here is out hunting. This 10,000 word per minute staunching alley ship toward the cult makes a different, more visceral kind of sense. What are we implying? If the whole hive is performing, is it performing for any guests at all? Or just for the kid who would prefer to stay upstairs in his room? Feels kind of dangerous to do anything with that revelation, but also kind of impossible to move forward without acknowledging you've realized he's been mandatorily adopted. Aww. No, please, we don't have to hide anything. There's nothing of any shame here. Deep injustices for which the system ought to be ashamed, but nothing to be withheld personally. I was looking, perhaps foolishly, for a start free of the usual some of the usual baggage. There's a privilege seldom enjoyed by the non-spectra bound, one that involves entertaining. The way you say, like, spectrum bound, like, implies that it's like a community. Like, there's more than one. Like, there's more than one, like, troll outside the cast in this society, which, interesting note. Entertaining a conversation. I mean, if Karkat is still alive in this world, then yes, that would make sense. Karkat himself is also out of the thing as an ancestor, if he's still alive. Or like anything like that. Which I doubt he's still alive. He did exist at one point, obviously. But, you know. There's a privilege seldom that involves entering a conversation without stereotype as mental precedent. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. We've done that, so there's really not a reason to keep any more context under the rug. Anyway, you're right. There are implications for your situation. If discovered, the perception of agency is such that it's on the chopping block for a perceived threat rather than myself for more accurately knowingly hiving a fugitive, and you need to be made aware of those anyway. He won't be home until near sunrise, but I'm prepared to accommodate you, even past that point, pretending your own comfort levels. Okay. You could move on, but you're unavoidably drawn to how much it sucks. It sucks. Again, the whole thing is a sickening imposition. Nearly every troll on the planet grows up under Luce's care. One can expect experiences like burning oneself the first time one tries to light a stove, or failing one's first several dozen attempts at stairs, to be normal, common experiences, or common enough to be cited frequently online as a sort of universal shared nostalgia, which unfortunately in actuality isn't a nostalgia everyone has access to. Literally, the stairs thing comes in the Hive owner's welcome packet, a little too dense for early readers, but in this case, I begrudgingly admit it's the thought that counts. But anyways, culling is functionally a theft of those shared experiences. It's a theft of a lot of things. You have learned from past experiences, not to just ask why someone is an orphan. But Kankri must catch some look on your face because, no, there was never Lucis in the picture. Yeah, because he has no sign. He's outside the cast, so he's not linked to anything, you know? Pretty sure Carcat's Lucis is a species that's never actually meant to take care of anything. Judging by the fact that Crab Dad is, Crab Dad. And yes, if a Lucis does not have a canon name, I will refer to it as what other people call it. I will, I know, the PETA actually named her Lucis. I'm not sure if anyone else did, besides Tavros, and Tavros did, obviously. Not sure if anyone else ever did, though. In retrospect, there is so much I wish I had tagged, but this platform does not allow editing. Falsely implied custodial death. A little late now. Something about the symbiosis between species. Apparently, there are Luci who have been observed raising wrigglers of any hue, but that's far from typical and not looked to as a solution on an imperial level. It shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone familiar with Befriendus' internal philosophies. Obviously, a place with a vested interest in maintaining spectral order would find it uninteresting, maybe even against their interests, to go about testing what presumptions it could be pushed a little. Anyway, and once one's in the system, regardless of the initial circumstances, there's a high burden of proof barrier to finding one's way out. Right, you think Arani has been living alone since she was 4, didn't she say? 4 sweeps or 4 years? 4 sweeps. And yes, when I try to calculate sweeps and whatnot, I will sort of round it. I understand that it's not exactly a sweep equals 2 years. It's far from that, and I get that. I say it like that because I don't want to go completely into detail. Okay, that means I get ages wrong. That means I misunderstand things. Okay? Call me stupid, but I like to round it up, okay? It's 4 sweeps, that's 8 years old. Or are we talking 2 sweeps, like an actual 4-year-old? A bit of a strange status quo. Okay, no, 4 sweeps. Okay. If the 4 sweep old seems fine, you can leave it. A grub obviously can't take care of itself, though, and it sounds like no one came by when Kankri turned 4 to double check any of those thoughts. But you still think 4 sweeps is very tiny for all that, but Kankri spends a long moment very patiently taking in a look that must be on your face. Oh, Luci natura haven't been recorded in most off-spectrum hues. Off-spectrum. Burgundy, ochre, umber, yellow-green, olive jade, aqua, cerulean, indigo, purple, violet, fuchsia. So we're calling it burgundy, ochre, and umber.
yellow, green. Lime? I'm just gonna use the normal names. Kankri, you use dumb names sometimes. Okay? Rust, bronze, gold, lime. Are the limes not dead on Befriendus? I don't think the limes are dead on Befriendus. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be cool if someone made like a Befriend lime blood OC. I guess that kind of also means, for the most part, I think you can leave whatever powers got all the lime bloods killed up to interpretation, unless, because I know Calliope says she has those exact same powers, unless Calliope reveals what powers got them killed, but it seems like nobody actually knows. Nobody knows anything about lime bloods whatsoever. Under each of those, there's a Brooding Caverns handbook somewhere delineating which hues fall within normal variants and which are a little too in between to qualify for any of the privileges or stigmas of the nearest established caste. Although even referencing one's spectra-bound caste as nearest is, again, mentally saving some links to send you sometime. Not good practice, though not preferred. Anyway, no, this isn't within the bounds of Burgundy. See, that even sounds, so weird to say. See, it is, incidentally, from an alternative brand that does carry some of the color, although not out of catering to the off-spec market or anything. What? I believe the current statistics are that there's just one of me. Scarlet Hue off-spec. Again, I'll be the only one that tag Candy Red to find clothing in various AES posts if you're into that kind of thing. Personally, not my favorite turn of phrase. So he's the only Candy Red, of course. Like, aside from Karkat, who's dead, probably, because, you know, they, judging from the way Aranya described Vriska, they lived a while ago, meaning they are all gone, except Pfeffery, because Pfeffery lives, like, not for freaking ever, but, like, for freaking ever, you know? Like, not actually forever, but, like, really long time. Really, really long time. In this hue, I mean, not only one living off-spectrum troll total, although everyone else seems astonished to hear that, despite it being not hard to just venture into the tag and find some dozen people on any platform, at least if one is brave enough to put it in bio and brace for the storm of fakerism accusations. That's slightly parallels some things in our world. Like when everyone used to fake mental disorders. So at all saying that you had a mental disorder, even if, like, whether or not you actually had one or not, you'd get accused of faking. Just because there were so many fakers that people who actually have mental disorders, like me with my ADHD, although I've never actually been accused, but, like, you know, just saying as an example, would get accused of faking. No cast, no loses from hatching, no loses from hatching, no loses from hatching, no leaving. It sounds like, at least for now, higher barriers to securing one's independence, sure. I wouldn't go that far. Like you've already pointed out, the solution lies for now in strategic rebellion and carefully placed points. Again, Longichair, for example, surely you've noticed Longichair. I'm told it's a bit of a standout feature. I think we can both look at me and agree there are no visible faults to hygiene or self-care play. The existence of literature under these conditions then lies in fundamental opposition to some assumptions people would make about where that line lies, and how to use that aforementioned societal rubric. It's a difficult game, but a piece of proof would that, again, healthy results can exist without the more nonsensical standards on which culling behavior is so frequently based. Does epically owning those bad arguments like that work? I like to think it lays the seeds for a larger body of groundwork that can be cited at a later date, both by oneself and by the community at large, as the system is increasingly exposed to its own contradictions. It all just sounds really slow and sad honestly. You don't tell him that. From the looks of things, it's fairly clear that Kankri basically lives at the computer. From the sound of his voice, he does not want to be in this place. And that's a little bit in opposition to him being the kind of guy who lazes around inside all the time. It sounds sad to spend that much time just trying to fight back against a house on its own terms. But hey, you're an anomalous space-time rendering alien. You walked all the way here, and boy are your legs tired, just to let your zapping recuperate. Maybe this is his day-to-day, but you are a walking, life-changing field trip to Zuko. Is that an Avatar: The Last Airbender reference? I love that show. I think I watched the entire thing. I remember I was on vacation with my cousin down in California. It was Palm Springs. And my cousin and I, my brother was sharing a room with our older cousin, who is now, he's now 18, but at the time it was a few years ago, so he was slightly younger. I was 12. I shared a room with my female cousin who's, pretty much exact same age, few months younger. And we watched the entire series together. It was fun. I've grown a little bit less close to my cousin. I am hoping, because I'm gonna be, out in Vancouver this summer, and on the island. Since my parents are going for a wedding, kids aren't invited because I think I'm not sure if they wanted an adults only wedding specifically, or if it's just because the small venue. It could be a mixture of both. I'm really hoping I get to bond with my cousin because we don't hang out that much anymore. I don't know if we've really hanged out since I was in grade 5 or 6. Maybe this isn't, Anyways, I'm getting way off track. What sounds like he really needs is to air out, to go outside. We're gonna save. To air it out or to go outside. Going outside could be dangerous. I'm gonna say to air it out. I'm really hoping this isn't the long bad ending, because if it's the long bad ending, I have to record a whole second video, so this isn't way too long. Because I'm already feeling like it's gonna be way too long. Oh, I should check the freaking time when I start recording. So, I didn't check the time when I started recording. It's 18... I don't feel like trying to decipher the 24-hour time right now. I'm just gonna check my phone. 6. I hope I'm slowly.
Anyways, we're gonna say to air it out, because we don't want to go die. How long can you expect to have the hive to yourselves? We should be all set for another few hours, but if it's the sun you're worried about, I'm not planning to turn you out in the morning. We may need to get a little inventive about sharing the space, but as long as we're quiet, you should seriously be fine. You seriously should be fine. I don't want to know what inventive means. I'm scared. Question, how do you feel about closets? Oh, okay. Shoving me in a closet. That's great. I thought we were gonna have like an awkward Jack song moment. About closets, the arguably offensive connotations thereof as a suggested temporary living space are not lost on me, but we're not running a 5-star loaned boat here. If he has the run of the hive, why is he cramped up in here with nothing to do but surf the web? I prefer to leave as little of a dent in the downstairs living space and its plush upholstery as possible. I mean, valid. I would apologize for the cramped conditions, but I actually trust you've fended for yourself with less pretty recently, so I don't really see a need. Wounds, caves dug by wildly sigh, if my memory serves. Captors, undoubtedly head-splitting interior design. His interior design is cool, okay? He has a Scott Pilgrim poster. That is peak. That is elite ball knowledge, okay? How dare you criticize that? You just have to wonder about how good it feels to stay up here all the time. What feels like a good million years ago, you were once a young teenager shut in their bedroom. I feel really called out. Specifically because that's what I am right now. Can't you do something, anything that isn't this game or self-preserving adolescent hide-and-seek? Look, alright, so let me stop you right there. You're clearly perceptive, and you've picked up on the kinds of artificial limits a gilded cage situation can place on one's general recreation options. Those limits can be both real, enforced, and implied, claimed not to be enforced, but in actuality subject to a series of small and dire social consequences if the limit is crossed. The idiomatic death of 1,000 lacerations. You wouldn't believe how much of the community congregates online for exactly those reasons. And with said community out there, well, who needs the hive? I know I was demanding the theft of... That is not bemoaning. I read that as demanding. I'm so sorry. I was bemoaning the theft of normalcy. But in reality, I do think we should question normalcy as a good to be striving for. I can assure you there is good concrete work to be done from here. At another time, I'd love to introduce you to more of how we're doing it. Well, yeah, but you meant more like something that feels good right now? Something that just existing for this moment in a way someone didn't define, sure, but in a way that also isn't defined exclusively in opposition. You know, any one thing to do just for him. I think you'll find you don't need to do anything for me. No, crud, that's not... You mean for nothing, for shits and giggles. We were breaking light. He's already using the hive for one of those unapproved teenage parties you hear so much about, a party of 2, but you're still trying really hard to sell this. Why not have some fun with it? I'm not sure that upholding a trope as mandatory as a mandatory adolescent experience is the kind of argument you want to be riding on. And if tropes as an argument are what you're dead set upon, I think I would particularly
particularly steer you away from one that exists almost exclusively to end in disaster for the protagonists as some sort of morality play, but I'm getting your point and willing to give it a shot. Quick aside, sorry, you have a Lucis is out hunting genre equivalent? Television, history, screenwriting, neither of which need to distract us with. Actually, note to self, compare cultural notes.
Yeah, it's called your parents being at work. Or in my case, my parents being at a younger sibling's football game. Me, I have my house all to myself and I can swear as much as I want. Just because my parents don't like it when I swear, they don't go too extreme. Just, they'll call me out on it and it's like awkward. I don't like awkward.
Don't get your hopes up for getting anything out of the exercise. It's fine, but it's just a hive, but sure. With your ideally soon-to-be button-toe, you head back downstairs with a hope, a dream, and a very slightly reckless gleam in your eye. You have some rec, but not all of it. He doesn't seem particularly jazzed about the idea of putting his shirt back on, but he does so anyway.
Yeah, for the better.
Even as you descend the stairs, you start the work.
He has so many styles of shirt, though, if you look at, the sweater on his desk and, like the more, less vest and more its own kind of shirt on his chair. Yeah, he has various styles of shirt. That's cool. Unlike most trolls who wear the same thing every day. I think on Befriendus, considering even the canon designs of these characters, I think they care a tiny bit more about fashion on Befriendus. Because a lot of the characters' outfits are slightly more, like, actually fashionable instead of just, like, a shirt and, like, bottoms and, like the plain same shirt just with the different sign and, like, color of that sign. I mean, some of the Alternian trolls wear, other outfit pieces that stand out a bit more, but, like, you get my point. They seem to care a bit more about fashion. Even as you descend the stairs, you start the work of scanning your surroundings with your hands set on your hips, determined to find your target, anything interesting, more specifically anything that sounds fun in Kankri land. Your eyes land on Exhibit A, which you stride towards while channeling your best of Vanna White. I'm sorry, I don't get the reference. I'm a chud, okay? I'm a chud, I didn't get the reference. The bookshelf, home to a mostly hardcover and mostly color-coded selection, which doesn't seem to have been recently dusted. Did you ever have the chance to read every book down here? Admittedly, no. Would he like to? Kankri lands a tone. Kankri Lane. I'm so sorry. I'm reading this all wrong. I feel like my mispronunciation of words, I feel like it gets worse once my meds have worn off, It gets worse. Kankri takes a tome off the shelf to turn it over in his hand. He makes a small performance of opening the cover, clearing his throat, and reading off a brief plot summary from the inside jacket, in which our protagonist, an indigo art collector, makes contact with a plain, unassuming jade, sullied by her past. Nope, you're good, actually. Kankri somehow makes the act of closing a book feel like a mic drop. Yeah, no thanks. I've read a few, actually, but your intent is totally seen and completely valid. We can work with this. Imperfect working with make-do scenario. This vibe. Yeah, rebellion vibes. Mom's not home. We're not calling him that. Linking you some reading and an escapability of the Befriend matriarch. No rush of the course. I'll be expecting your thoughts anytime this week. Win loses? Call taker. I understand I'm reading this in the wrong voice. Sorry. You're right. I understand your dilemma now.
Your dilemma now. You really tried, Val. Cultivator. That is the vocabulary you were looking for. You said you had a few ideas to float. Please don't let me interrupt. You mentioned the stove, right? That's start. Let's go turn on the stove. What, just stare at it? Semantically an option, I guess, and totally see the symbolic rebellion, but it's a bit of a waste of gas. Awaiting context, judgment withheld, environmental perils. You actually meant to cook with? Sure, I respect your thinking. I feel like sometimes I'm leaving ... is just silence, and other times I'm audibly saying ... Ignore my inconsistency. You incline your head in a way that says, and? I mean, isn't that, you know, a girl thing? Oh. Kankri, honey. Kankri, no. Kankri, you're being unintentionally sexist. Poor guy. He doesn't even realize it. Oof. Yeah, that's yeah, my exact reaction. Well, alright, okay, alright. I would have thought, with the fact that trolls don't reproduce naturally, you would think gender doesn't matter in their society. I mean, obviously, the gender of someone you're dating and like sexuality doesn't matter, obviously, like nobody seems to care. I mean, on Alternia, I bet like gender matters even less. Like I think gender definitely doesn't matter on Alternia. It seems to me that matters slightly more on Befriendus for some reason. Doesn't make sense as to why it does, but I guess also Alternia just doesn't have the time to care about that stuff. Considering you have to be, considering the entire society just has to worry about the fact that everyone's getting murdered and murdering each other, you know? It's all concrete. Doesn't he witness it being done by a non-girl daily? Didn't he just establish his cult taker as a dude? No, not the Skype to pick at, not the time. But like, no, you say it is not a girl thing. No, by all means, I'm not rejecting the idea. You being our planet's guest and myself being thoroughly up for the challenge. Oh wow, after our thorough deconstruction of Befriend hospitality, there I go, perpetuating that exact language. You get it right. How what I'm doing is different from the language? I'm not sure it is, actually. Let's delineate for this for a minute. Let's go learn how to use an alien stove before you grow old and gray. What are you? Hey, don't just go in there and start poking things. I figured we would be pulling some kind of tutorial. In the end, you do let him pull a tutorial. Kankri hopping up and down on the dinner table to try and sit and displaying his phone while you lean against the table's edge. The two of you also realize that you have no knowledge of Befriend ingredients, and Kankri has no knowledge of cooking, so you turn to GrubTube for tutorials there too. Lol, watching YouTube tutorials. I've taken cooking classes and I like bake or cook with my mom sometimes. Mostly when I'm cooking though, it's something really simple, but like I have a pretty great mom, so if I ever want to like learn recipes, I know how. Like the problem is though, I follow recipes best when I'm on my medication, but if I'm cooking and I'm on my meds,
I'm not going to be able to eat it. Like, I'll literally feel sick if I do, so what's the point? But, like, I can follow instructions, I just... Oh no, my ADHD's gonna doom my ability to cook. Well, shit. Okay. We love me suddenly realizing that I might actually be freaking doomed because my own ADHD is... Oh my god. I'm going completely off topic. Please forgive me for randomly pausing and just ranting about something only mildly related. Okay? I am so sorry. My brain works in stupid ways. The tutorials started out quite complex, pretty pastel-colored things with ambitious architecture that you don't even know if Earth's food could manage it. Kankri grumblingly revises his searches to include more and more beginner basic 101. What you land on is more or less an omelet. You go for a plain one, motivated on your end by the fact that flipping even that seems complicated enough already on Kankri, and on Kankri's end by an apparently picky palate. What was it we needed? One of those... He gestures with both hands to trace out the approximate shape of a wide spatula. Thing flippers? Oh god, this is going to go so poorly. You've moved this party into the kitchen and it doesn't go that poorly. Hey! Counters are well stocked with snack foods that are ready to be eaten as soon as the package is opened. Presumably to further discourage any survival cooking, Kankri shoves aside the ones in the fridge to retrieve the egg carton stored behind them. It's hungry work, this cooking business. You point towards a bowl of prepackaged stuff questioningly, in exchange for which Kankri snorts and gestures at you to go ahead. He's insistent on doing any of the important parts. So aside from a quick turn mixing the eggs, your job is mostly to jiggle the mouse pod so the husk top doesn't fall asleep, and thrust windows open to dispel a slightly burnt smell and munch on your pre-dinner snack. Learning to clean off an alien stovetop is a greater frustration than preparing the food itself, but you're waved away from it, and although you're not sure it's the politest call, you acquiesce and leave it to wait in the dining room without too much protest. You do wince just a little as you hear maybe a hiss of breathing and then a running faucet. Maybe letting it cool down for just a little longer would have been wise. Oh, did Kankri burn himself? Oh no. Kankri emerges with 2 plates and a band-aid over one finger, and nods past the expansive dining table over to the couch, to which you think, heck yeah, no rules, well dad's not home. You mosey on over and sit and eat in relative silence. Well, I can confidently call that one of the most mediocre meals I've ever eaten. I am so sorry. It's not that bad. Frankly, it's not that bad at all. A little more scrambled than rolled. You like scrambled eggs. I do not like scrambled eggs. I'm admitting that now. I'm a picky eater. Eggs? I hate them. I'm sorry. I might try them a few more ways, but I've had them, scrambled? I'm not sure if it was fried or set up. I don't know. I had them... I don't know how to describe them. I had them some other way. I'm not entirely sure what other way. And then I've had deviled eggs, and I hated all 3. I am so sorry. Call me a weirdo for hating eggs, but I hate eggs, hate lasagna, a lot of other things in there, but I also have this weird hatred for when the toppings are under the cheese on a pizza, because the toppings don't cook properly. It's gross to me, okay? If I go to a restaurant that has pizza and they put the toppings under the cheese, I nearly crash out. I'm gonna have to start, anytime I'm at a restaurant with pizza that's like an actual sit-down restaurant and not like, like a chain, I'm gonna have to start asking if they put the toppings under the cheese, and if they do, specifically asking for the toppings on top of the cheese or just get a cheese pizza. Because it's like, oh my god, if I order a meat lovers and you put the toppings under the cheese and like, I don't know, say the ham isn't cooked right, I'm gonna be upset because raw ham, like, not raw ham, it's not raw, but like, not like cooked to crispy ham is disgusting in my opinion. That's why I hate it when it's like a holiday and instead of having turkey, we have ham. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I even really like ham. I think the only way I really like pig meat is like, okay, maybe I've had good bits like pork, and I don't know if I've ever had pork ribs, but I think I have, and it was decent. But like bacon, and that's almost pretty much it. Sorry, I don't like having ham, especially not honey glazed. I'd rather have a turkey. I know turkey's expensive, but it's superior. Turkey is superior. Anyways, sorry about my random tangent about my food, like, pet peeves. I was kidding. Come to think of it, I probably shouldn't have been. This was a collaborative project, and I would never disparage your efforts. It's actually fine. Woof, Elaine jokes. It was barely a collaborative project, bro. That's okay, though, because, like, when I did cooking classes, if I was off my meds and I was in a group, I'd just be chatting with my friends, which I always was. Usually, or I'd be in a group with, like, people I don't really know, but, like, people I don't actively hate. I'd low-key just be, like, talking with my friends and not being very helpful. Usually, though, if I'm cooking with a group, I try my best to be helpful, you know? Very few trolls on Befriendus have never had a badly made omelet. I mean, consider basic motor development in those early sweeps. Actually, I'm sort of culling illusions, normalcy worship, treading a line here. Sort of glad considering he trails off before that sentence gets any more personal. The room lapses into silence again. I think we got the good ending, you know? Where nothing actively bad is happening, you know? We're just two bros cooking together. As you do with your bro, you know? I've cooked with my friends before. Mostly in cooking classes, but honestly, like, my best friend and I, he likes to cook, I kind of like to cook. We've cooked before, especially on, you know, that stupid 413 where, he, my other best friend, now partner, I guess, because yes, I have a girlfriend and then I have a non-binary partner / boyfriend. I just refer to them as a non-binary partner because I still like to, lesbians and more so Neptunic, but I still identify as a lesbian, so like, just, you know, except I also sometimes feel more like a dude. I don't, it's hard to explain. Okay, we're going off topic, but like, my partner, him and I, my partner, best friend and I, we did make that stupid Betty Crocker cake on 413. Then he uploaded the video of me being stupid. Lol. I used to think it was him that uploaded it. Can't remember if it was him or I. Maybe I should upload a bunch of my 413 stuff that I don't think I uploaded. Except it's well past 413, isn't it? It's, just seems... It's a little late in the year, okay? Should I wait until next 413 or... I don't know what to do. Try to scoot around a little if you start to feel the couch doing any long-term molding around your form, by the way. Oh, sorry, what? Oh, totally thought I had alluded to this, but again, I try to leave as little of an imprint on the space as possible. Oh, like a literal one, like the print your butt would make in these cushions. Precisely. And just to show you were listening, you pick up your butt and scoot a couple inches to the left. To your relief, the couch does not seem to be the kind of luxurious foam deal that springs back with little complaint. Kankri's plate joins the only pre-existing dish on the table, the candy dish from before, and yours follows it, and then there's nothing to talk about. You eye the bowl, it's heaping, barely short of pouring over the sides with what seems to be little licorice Scotty dogs. Can I just say this? I'm not a hater of black licorice or candy corn. Other people may hate those candies, I don't. My dad used to get, like, packs of, like, my dad, sometimes we still do, but, like, my dad especially used to get, like, packs of licorice and share with us, and sometimes he'd get, Twizzlers of black licorice, and Twizzlers black licorice is pretty decent. Some kinds of black licorice, like, I'll like black licorice flavored stuff, too, and it's, like, I don't hate it. I kind of like it. Some black licorice has a weird, gross aftertaste, but, like, that's just me nitpicking, okay? And candy corn, I don't get why people hate it. I guess it is just kind of pure sugar, but, like, you see people hating on candy corn, you don't see people hating on freaking cotton candy. I don't know, it's just, or, like, caramel, I don't know, it's just, like, I don't know. I respect that some people have different opinions on things. I'll just never understand people who hate candy corn and black licorice. Strap for any other conversations you gesture to it, so dessert. Ugh. If you're into that kind of thing. Oh, licorice hater. Why do you have so much of it then? Kankri, why do you? I've never tried them, actually. Nor do I intend to. Let's make no calcium struts about it. We're looking at the presentation of a gift no one asked for, and one in a series. Cut fruit, iced pucker fruit water and infusions, lemon water, respiratory coolant tablets, you name it. The bowl actually is arguably... Does that mean mint? The bowl actually is arguably one of our most insidious examples and the longest lasting. The bowl, of course, already stands out via the choice of candy itself. Setting out a delicacy like that may be widely understood among the warmer classes to be nothing more than a gross display of wealth. But it'll take more than a semantically correct argument to unseat such a practice from its traditional pedestal of hospitality. An inanimate presence designed to creep its way into the interior design aesthetic, and when left sitting, demanding presence be interpreted as passive. Removal of the bowl, says the status quo, will be demanding action, or still, even labor. Lober? Ignore me if I said that. Ignore the fact that I probably said that wrong. Just Alright. We're just gonna move past that. To leave it there, well, it's always been there. Why ask the status quo? Are you raising such a fuss? No, who dares to? And here's where we've laid our rhetorical trap. We is, of course, hypothetical here. I would never implicate you in this kind of behavior.
Active protest of the bowl would be, of course, ingratitude, emotional immaturity. It doesn't end there. Even passive refusal can be leveraged, whether as a sign of disrespect or of the pitiable and emotionally closed off, still in need of help and healing. So why doesn't he just eat the candy then? And admit defeat? No, bearing that, admit, need, even want, was never there to begin with. What comes next? Snuggle planes, grooming products, emotional chickens, slippery slope, fallacy checked, fallacy locked and loaded. What you're looking at is a symbol of projected expectations and needs. It's a common tactic of the ruling class used to undermine personal self-definition, in which we've been over is pretty problematic. Every wiggler likes candy. No one might argue in bad faith, and I apologize for this upcoming expression, in their right mind, would stick up their nose at candy. Casual ableism. Okay. Something of a universal gift, yeah, like a candy dish on a receptionist's desk, or a gift wrap scented candle from someone you only half know. Speaking of candles, my grandparents have just the nicest fruity smelling candle in their house. I need that scent. I don't even know what it is, but it's fruity smelling, and I love fruity smelling things. Which is probably apparent by the fact that I have the perfume I use, like the body mist from Bath and Body Works I'm currently using, is Pink Pineapple Sunrise. I also like the Japanese Cherry Blossom. Oh my god, before Pride Month's over, I'm gonna have to convince my mom to take me to Bath and Body Works and see if they have the Pride scent this year, because they didn't last year. And I love the Pride scent. I love it so much. I'm getting off topic, but like seriously, I love it. I'm gonna freaking beg my mom. You know what? I'm gonna beg my mom. Because I need it as a perfume. It's like, it's only available for like 1 month a year. It's like one of my favorite scents. I wish it was available at all times of the year. So it can be gay and smell gay at all times of the year. Therefore this is still in character. Therefore I, being of even sounder mind, will take every step possible to provide it. It's the little things that brighten their lives. Culling culture, infantilization, belittlement, lifespan shaming. Kankri says it's the little thing that brightens their lives, in a tone that suddenly makes you aware of how much sanctimony exists in the world and how much higher one can always climb in it. For a moment, it causes his regular speaking voice to come across upsettingly normal. It's a familiar story, though a nigh on impossible one to relay online without being subjected to anywhere from 15 to 50 notifications, all containing the same characterized copy-pasted account. Online harassment, clipboard needles. It's never been a very good one. Let's say you're trying to walk from one end of the hive to another to retrieve a mobile device thoughtlessly left in the ablutions block. You do this without bothering to throw on a shirt, considering understandably you are planning to get immediately back in the coop. Should you make this journey unseen, it's an uneventful moment in anyone's morning. Should you make it in your own hive, even better. But let's say on this particular morning, the hive's other inhabitant seems to have chosen to turn in slightly late. And also on this particular morning, in front of your unfortunately awake witness, you say briefly shivered on the way back up the stairs. No, just for my benefit as a storyteller, and to keep me from committing any egregious misframings, what would be your usual general cultural expectation? If you shiver on the stairs in front of your roommate, Dad, they might ask if you're cold.
Kankri makes a face like he's considering fighting against your oppression too. It's one of his most frequent faces. Sure, okay, and even that has things to unpack, but despite my refusal to establish normal as meaningful baseline, I think your cultural context makes this hypothetical a bit more cut and dry than your typical demonstration. How long is this going to be? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to start measuring how long my recordings, like when I start recording. Cause oh my god, this is long. I'm going to construct for us a quick hypothetical, total neutral, a sort of baseline for respect. Let's say you're a functioning troll, I'm a functioning troll, unless I've specifically requested otherwise. You and I are both aware that I'm capable of taking care of basic sensory needs without getting outside input. I'm going to narrow in on a specific point within that observation, and bear with me that you've demonstrated no want or need for any kind of tool to better stay warm. The tools are at your disposal. We're discussing a matter of choice. Our hypothetical, respectful observer has seen you engage in a chosen, temporary inconvenience when you had every tool to avoid, and if you saw fit, has gone on with their day. Yeah, yes, could have thrown on a shirt, chose not to, because that's peopling sometimes. Now let's say, instead of that, you wake up with a pile of new shirts in the evening, freshly ironed. Oh, yikes. Right, and now imagine this and similar gestures for every otherwise totally Trollian and acceptable slip of a similar magnitude. Trip once on the stairs, for example, and I suggest actually, I have a whole library of reliable sources I could offer our demonstration's hypothetical protagonist to debate the rant of retaining the ability to move between floors without an escort. But it's a hollow victory. Even then, it's one far too many have lost. So it's just don't give an inch, then. So it's just don't give an inch, then, like leaving the Scotty dogs uneaten. Kankri tugs uncomfortably at the cuff of his shirt. So it's give a few inches. Kankri's tone is clipped like he's speaking as efficiently as possible. Strategic inches. This starts to feel a little beyond your pay grade, or at least the afternoon's pay grade. The refusal to leave a butt print on the couch, the cautious scrubbing of the stoves till it's spotless, all make a little bit more sense. Don't worry too deeply about all that. So he has an overbearing dad. Okay. It's a matter of principle more than anything. I think that's what I'm taking away from this. And you make a decent point earlier about coming down here. There's something about pacings, the full length of a gilded cage up to its edges, rather than marking out one's own territory within it, that makes its boundaries all the more infuriating, I guess. But even so, I'm going to call the payoff worth the venture. That's good. Still, though, you don't want to alarm him, but as you think back over the past hour, there are several places you two did leave a mark down here. Not just the snacks you grabbed, but things like the eggs missing from the fridge, the milk carton that's now considerably lighter. Right, I was thinking about that. It might be a good idea to pick ingredients that don't as obviously need to be cooked before eating them next time, or it risks being obvious in ways them being a reckless danger to myself will left to my own devices. But it's nothing catastrophic. Trigger warning, unsanitary to follow. Trigger warning, food judgment to follow. I'm debating the merits of claiming to have made one of those drinks with the raw eggs in them. Whether that, or this is considered more of a risk to my health, is a legitimate toss-up. Yeah, not your best laid plan ever. You probably could have. Please, don't apologize. At worst, I'll be facing the disastrous consequences of having proven I won't burn the hive down. Kankri glances down at the band-aid on his hand over his minuscule stove burn.
and having gotten really into fingerless gloves for a couple weeks. It'll be a good look for him. Still, though, he clearly devotes so much of his time to navigating this maze of giving the halfway confident impressions he wants to. And if you had done a little more listening before getting started, maybe. Look, I appreciate this, but continually apologizing for a decision I made is going to cross a line eventually. Right. And honestly, it's a choice I would make again. This is nice. Doing something just 'cause? Well, that's half of it, no offense, but you're not exactly the inventor of the idea. I just mean that it's nice to what can happen when everyone in his space has already attained the same level of general enlightenment. Oh, when his eyes light up like that, it just makes my heart melt. He's just such a cutie. Is something wrong? Okay, you're gonna say it. He's been dissing your friends a lot, insulting their intelligence all of the time. Okay. Yeah, no, fair. Fair. This is a little bit of bullying. Like, can I just be honest? I read the wiki page and, Kankri viewing Batuna having to wearing a helmet as perpetuating a ableist stereotype is dumb, bro. Sometimes that is genuinely necessary, but and more so my actual point. Maybe he's wearing a helmet because he skateboards. Not wearing a helmet while skateboarding is how you die. He's just being freaking responsible, bro. Doesn't feel like a compliment to be the only person at the same level of general enlightenment when he's saying it to throw other people under the bus. Greta, I never meant to overstep. Honestly, I'm sure you keep great company. You keep his company. On this planet, you two keep the same company. Those are your friends. Right, of course. And they're great people. Down in there somewhere, I'd know better than anyone else that it can take a lot of work. Oh, I'm sorry, the little eye shines on his face are just the cutest. Oh my god, he melts my heart. That it can take a lot of work before that inner purity of heart is able to really shine in a way that's socially appropriate or productive. It's what makes the work worth it. I think we're on the same page with that. Oh god, it's 7 o'clock. This has probably taken more than just 1 hour. This recording's gonna be too long, I'm so sorry. It's what makes the work worth it. I think we're on the same page with that. Is that what it's about, deep downs? You suppose you aren't in a position to judge considering the dramatis personae of your friends list. But in your defense, most of your friendships are run-ins. I should have split this up. I actually should have split this up. I just really don't wanna... We're in too deep. We're probably close to the end, right? You're dropped in on a person without the benefit of context and have to dig in to find the soft, fleshy bits. Whether because that's what the pool god puppeteering your brain tells you to do, or because of some kind of reckless noisiness. More often than not, though, you're in survival mode. The faster you humanize, trollinize, okay, now you're doing it too, yourself to your audience, the less likely they are to do something drastic. And 17 times out of 38, you never spoke to them ever again. So long. Thanks for the memories. Hope this encounter did something for you. Did we actually just get the bad... Did we get the bad ending? I can't freaking tell. Because if I want the good ending, I'm gonna have to do a whole separate recording. It's different for him. He has to live with these people, and it kind of seems shitty to carry on if all... Oh no, we're not saying that to him. We're
whatever. He's doing his thing and they're or like be some version of themselves that he can approve of more. It seems like the kind of thing that would make pretty much all involved parties feel pretty resentful. Kankri is too well trained as a listener to tap his fingers to do anything to visibly indicate his impatience or start talking, but you can feel the glut of his words building behind the pressure valve of his mouth. It doesn't take more than half a second of pause for him to twist and release. I'm glad you're establishing background here because it is actually quite useful for me to understand the context of friendship you're used to. I'll negate any accidental red fruit and orange fruit comparisons. I am also glad you felt comfortable expressing that unfiltered. Trigger warning, situations of peril, negating. I could go point by point on my response, but I think it's simplest to circle back to a much earlier point. Namely, I still don't know why this has to be about a feeling. What exactly about friendship isn't a feeling? I've gotten into playing Crime Scene Cleaner recently. I don't know if I've said that previously, but like, really fun game. Do recommend checking it out. I would have recorded my playthroughs of all that, but like, I didn't record my playthroughs, and like, now I'm starting like the 5th freaking level, and it's like, if I go back, if I record just one level, it's like, incomplete series, it's like, you know, but then if I go back and re-record and record myself replaying levels, you're not going to get my genuine reaction because I already know what happens. I already know what everything's like, so I'm just going to bring up that I played that game and I'm not actually going to record footage of it, sorry. Also, sorry if you ever wanted to see me play, Ghostwire Tokyo ever again. The original videos have been deleted from existence. I apologize for that. It's probably never gonna happen. I'm probably never gonna pick that game up again. I'm sorry. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, okay? It's not that. Look, obviously feelings are involved in friendship. I'm not advocating against that. Camaraderie, affection, admiration, envy, resentments. These are all part of the building blocks of the troll condition we call friendship. Figure of speech, possibly one worth retiring. I'm talking about the work, though. You keep using emotive language, hope, approve, resentful. Seriously, I'm not trying to tone police here, but I think the use of that language is pretty indicative of basic miscommunication. This has nothing to do with how I feel about them. This is about social engineering. That's kind of exactly your point. Why does he feel like he has to engineer his friends? I don't consider them mutually opposed mechanism. I argue they necessarily cohabitate, in fact. I feel like I've covered a lot of this in my moral compass discussion earlier, but I don't mind recovering the ground. Consider your average Accord server, like Discord server, or appropriate comparable alien social construct here. When you join a group server, do you consider the mod to not be friends with any of the people there? Or do you instead consider that it's likely that some level of guardianship is needed to maintain an environment that can more easily accommodate the frequently explosive people that make it home? Okay, sure, you can agree that a little tone setting from time to time is necessary, but mods aren't in mod mode all the time. It doesn't really seem like he ever takes off this moral compass thing. Again, the people he's morally compassing aren't even here, and yet he's still intermittently try to drag this metaphor out to its unnatural conclusion, issuing strikes. You're assuming that this doesn't go both ways. I assure you, the feedback is far from one-sided. Perhaps I have accidentally come across as unnecessarily critical. I assure you, I wouldn't do so without my friends establishing that I am a norm in our group, that as a norm in a group. I'm messing up words. Sorry. They're very open with their feedback. I've come to understand it's one of the more unique benefits of our particular social circle. They're not afraid to tell you when, actually, hold on, this might be one of those cases where it's more useful to get the exact wording. He withdraws his palm musk from somewhere you weren't paying attention to. You're not even sure he has pockets in those chest-high pants of his. Bodas. His Silodex. Here, anyways, they're not afraid to tell you when you're, quote, are so far up your own, refuse corridor. It's a wonder your voice didn't echo. I'm working on my Matuna voice. Okay, it's gonna change. It's gonna change a lot. Okay, my Matuna voice is gonna change a lot. Get used to it. Yeesh. Or, god damn, CG, does anyone else get to use Gen Moral today, or do you just want your own channel at this point? She then checks to see if I get the channel joke for the record. Or more content based. Okay, this is Cronus. I don't know how to do Cronus's voice. I want to do that traditional greaser voice, but I actually forgot how to freaking do that. Oh god. I just don't get how you can come here and talk about spectral blindness and planonormative witty or whatever, but my fantasy stuff is in general is off topic, but whatever. Oh boy, a few of those W's definitely came out with V's. I'm really not trying to pronounce it aloud. Appropriation or something? Okay, when Cronus's actual chapter drops, I promise I will work on my Cronus impression. I will study. I'll try to figure out how to do that voice, okay? I'm so sorry if that was bad. It's not really what I would want him to sound like. Hold on, let me just reattempt reading that line. I just don't get how you can come here and talk about spectral blindness and planonormative witty or whatever, but my fantasy stuff is in general is off topic, but whatever. I don't think that was any better. I'm sorry. I promise I'll get better at voice acting as we go, okay? I'll improve my voices. I'll change them. I don't know if I've made Matuna's any better. I feel like I haven't made it better. Sorry. Perhaps a little theatrically expressed, but these are concrete notes in their way. They're a form of admittedly imperfect self-advocacy. I feel proud, even, that they feel comfortable expressing that to me. And in turn, I want to do the same for them, with the added combination of the fact that due to my unique privilege of experience, I'm able, and I don't think this is bragging here, to separate myself from the heat of the moment discussion. I'm happy to utilize that to provide at least an equivalent, if not greater, degree of guidance, but in a more sidelong manner, which hopefully minimizes the risk of any hurt feelings. Not to suggest my own feelings are hurt. I do my best to take these remarks in the spirit I believe they are given in, rather than just reacting to the literal phraseology. But we can't expect everyone to have that degree of patience, at least of most of the people
in this group. After this recording, I feel like I'm gonna do Mulin and like the other stuff. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I need a break. I need to cook myself some dinner and just go outside and like do some other stuff. As much as I enjoy playing this game and I enjoy recording videos for you, this chapter has been so long that I genuinely actually need a break from playing. And I guess I failed to see why that's a bad thing. Sure, equanimity in a friendship is a great thing to strive for, but you and I both know it rarely works out like that. I feel it's more useful for those of us with the resources to see multiple sides of an issue, to do so and help provide insight as needed to those who are less inclined. As a once in a while thing maybe, but it's one thing to occasionally be the guy who decides to step in and say something. I feel like it's another thing entirely to make that your entire role to play. Why? It's not like we ever stop needing that role to be filled. I'm committed to doing this. I want to do this. But why? When the attempt is neither appreciated nor enjoyed, he doesn't seem to like managing them. You sincerely doubt they enjoy being managed. It's that I know these people, and I witnessed their refusal to speak up on their own behalf, even despite obvious discomfort, and refusal to interrogate each other's patterns and needs before recreating cycles of old drama ad nauseum, and history has made it very clear that sooner or later someone is going to get burned. Kankri blinks once, twice, his eyes dart away just for a second to the plate. Don't go drawing false equivalencies. You weren't planning on it, mostly because they are false equivalencies, and sometimes phrasing is just phrasing, but you watch as Kankri connects the dots anyway. He swallows something down. Sure, I wouldn't expect that of you. Silence ticks by for a moment. You realize that in a split second you may both be running the same calculations and find yourself in the heated predicament of being on the other side of the counter. He's been wrong about, you think maybe a lot, or not wrong exactly, whatever version of well-intentioned with bad results that distinguishes the degree of culpability he legitimately has here. Okay, now you're doing it too. But he's not wrong, like, well, we're now doing the little hashtag thing. But he's not wrong that you do have something in common. You both usher conversations to an ending. You both rather direct than act. I think dramaturgy is a little closer for the record. This has got to be like the longest freaking chapter. God. Please, sir, I want you to, please, shush. Shh. You are talking too much. I want you to just shh. Can we end this already? I want the ending, please. Whoops, there you go again, being all external with the internal monologue. Kankri sighs, pressing his palms tight against the meat of his legs and dragging downwards. When the heels of his hands reach his knees, he speaks. I do want to acknowledge that it is overstepping a bit to make offhanded comments about the nature that I've been making. As you said, they're your friends as well. I can understand why it may be a little bit aggravating to hear someone speak less than well of them. Less than well is a little gentle, but you let him finish anyways. I really do want to indicate whatever you may have taken from my remarks. I don't bear them any. You're still on the let him finish train, but you maybe don't control your expressions as well as your tongue, as he sees something flicker into discourse. I do still enjoy them, most of the time, in a social way unbounded from my preferred role. Trust me, contrary to the impression I seem to have been giving, I do know what it looks like to be in relationships that are entirely founded on corrective measures. Well, you can't exactly pretend your record on complaining about judging nominal friendships is squeaky clean. And you say carefully, he got here first. You're hearing about this dynamic secondhand, and as history has taught you, commenting on relationships you've only barely dipped your toes into is not the move. Maybe ironically, you both get a little carried away with reacting. Maybe the moderator needs a moderator. Kankri's eyes widen a little at that, not dramatically, but like he's really pondering that one. You have brushed on something there, I think. I mean, it is roughly what I have been getting at this whole time. It's rare that I think either of us encounters someone at the same level of experience. Even if our methodology is bound to have evolved in different directions. Bet y'all are at least a little glad for my constant talking. I'm glad for my constant talking too, because if I was not distracted right now and just hearing this music on loop, and it wasn't like, just like, you know, background noise to what I'm actually doing, I'd have gone insane. I can listen to a song on loop only if it's in the background, okay? Like, just, you know. In light of that, I might look forward to some collaborative efforts. Aww. Not that I expect to completely rewire your preferred practice, obviously, nor you mine, for the record. Think of it as, like, peer review. Nothing so drastic as reading DMs. Obviously, that would be a little unethical without the consent of the third, fourth, etc. parties involved. But if, say, either of us were encountering a situation which might benefit from the other's set of eyes and ears, we could do this again? Not literally all of this, obviously. Honestly, most of this could have been handled in an agreemail. But maybe in an in-person visit from time to time as well, assuming mutual interest and logistic possibility. Aww, no, he's such a cutie. The way he's looking at me makes my heart melt. It's so wholesome. He's so wholesome in this iteration. I like Befriendus because, like, it takes these characters that are more caricatures. They kind of just exist for the sake of existing. A lot of them don't get screen time, and, like, a lot of them are just generally unbearable people, and it takes them and it makes everything wholesome. It develops them and makes them genuinely, like, people you can actually empathize with. It's nice. It's the same with Distant Quest. Like, Distant Quest, we know nothing about the ancestors because they're kind of just brought up to exist. They're not alive. Most of them aren't alive when we, you know, from the point of the story that we see. So having them introduced as actual characters with personalities and stuff is nice. Like, the only one who's not dead by the time, like, Homestuck takes place is obviously the Condess, who is more important. She's much more important than the others. The others are mentioned, like, once, explained as a way of, like, meant to explain the way some of the characters act, and that's about it, you know? And to, I guess, have a bit of drama and emphasize how freaking evil old Tony is. Oh, I have a freaking fortune cookie here. Usually I don't like fortune cookies. I think they taste bland, but, like, I'll eat it. Huh.
Like a gossip session, the look on his face makes you quickly contextualize that as a talk about your day gossip, not talk shit gossip. Dialogue. I think the word you're looking for is a dialogue. In spite of everything we've just discussed, every night I tried to forget Miriam got to you first. That actually sounds pretty nice. You let yourself sit with the idea for a second. It really, really does. He has the benefit of context and history. You have the outsider perspective and the scrappy underdog origin story. All the makings of a dynamic duo if you play your cards right. You don't think you're really the person to take Kankri to ask for the desire to treat friendship like a garden for you to tend, not without feeling like a massive raging hypocrite about it, but maybe with some mutual oversight. There's something to be said for for being able to spot flaws with the camera you'd never find in a mirror. It's not a solution by a long shot, but then this whole problem really stems from treating people like problems to be solved in the first place. And at the end of the day, you both have the most important ingredient of all. Investment. Investment. Well, he's wearing a vest. Hilarious. But I agree. I think I'd find that quite workable. So would you. You have some dishes to do now, don't you? Kankri's glance to the side confirms that he was half hoping the chore would go away if neither of you brought it up, or maybe hoping to slink his way back to himself once he had steered you neatly upstairs. I was leaving the pan to soak. Ah, so the plan was secret chores without you. Poor Miss taught you better guest manners than that. No one said that. But, well, I mean, I figured I could hop back downstairs once you're engrossed in a little reading or something and make quick work of it. Not so secret chores without you, but him doing the chores without you, secretly. Kankri clears his throat in the universally understood language of, you may have a point, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. More or less. Not the world's most equitable division of labor. Kankri makes another universal sound of, I am agreeing with you, but continuing to hate it. You know, it's some really unpleasant work that we just agreed to. No, not really, but if the pan's been soaking this whole time, it should honestly be pretty quick work. The butter didn't burn that badly. No. Oh, no, I actually meant, it just serves between the two of you. I was actually referring to this whole peer review arrangement. Deeply unpleasant, is that just me? Addendum, actually, really difficult work. Unpleasant employees are so much. Y'all can read that yourself. I don't wanna. You were critiquing my suggested division of labor, right? Let's go implement that. Aww. He nods over his shoulder in a way that clearly translates his words into, okay, fine, let's go do the dishes. Peer review it is. Yay! I made it through all that dialogue, and it was so worth it because this is so cute. Anyways, I'm so sorry that recording is so long. Goodbye, guys. I'm gonna end this off quick. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Don't know when I'm gonna get to posting this.